Joey, Clint Hill said in his pre-match press conference that given their result last weekend, it was always going to be a difficult game this today, and it proved that way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're scrapping away. I think they're in the bottom four, so obviously getting a little bit of the run around against Luton last week was enough to galvanise them. But again, you know, disappointing in terms of us. The main focus of the week has been on us and what we were going to do. And we just like that little bit of quality, a little bit of composure, which is surprising for a few of us.
First 15-20 minutes, you certainly had your chances, and if you could have got your noses in front then, that could have been crucial today.
Momentum's key in any football match, you know, and you see a couple of opportunities to maybe test their goalkeeper and force them to make a save, and you don't take them, and you know there's always going to be ebbs and flows within the game. You know, you've got to make sure you police the parts of the game when they have theirs, and you've got to make sure that when you get yours you try and get your nose in front. And you know, the first goal for me was crucial. We'd had a little bit of a let off, player dribbling in our own half, which is not what he'd be advised to do, and it was testing today. It's not, that's for sure. Yeah, and you know, the key for us is just sticking to what they do. They find themselves 1-0 down, and we're probably fortunate to do so because Kernsy's made a couple of really good stops beforehand. It was a strange game, you know, almost the home team kind of counter-attacked the away team. So yeah, it's disappointing. We thought it was a game that was winnable for us, and it turns out not to be so.
You mentioned Alex Kearns. Where do you rate him in terms of goalkeepers in this division?
I think he's up there for sure. You know, certainly when called upon, he's been first class for us since the moment I've walked into the football club. But again, you know, he's got lots of improvement to do. You know, the game is about levels, and there's a lot of lads who aspire to get to the next level, and they've just got to keep working hard, keep listening to the coaches. You know, I know Al's keen to improve. He's keen to further develop, and you know, he's coming along just nicely. You know, as I say, on another day, a couple of the saves he makes, he probably deserves to keep a clean sheet. So I'm frustrated for Al because, you know, the lads in front of him have got to give him less work. And certainly today, weirdly, I thought the performance was much better than the Walsall performance, and yet you come away with no points.
Yeah, and having gone 2-0 down, of course, you get that goal too little too late at 5 minutes from the end. Yeah,
I mean, we get undone with a set play for the second one, which is frustrating. You know, we defended 13 corners, I think it was, last week, relatively well, and that always happens if you make a couple of substitutions. Obviously, the work you've done in the week, you know, it throws a few people off. I think it's a couple of small errors. I think someone loses the man, and it causes a near post flick on, and then obviously somebody doesn't pick the big fella who's tracked round the back, and he gets on the end of it. So disappointed to concede a goal from a set play. Obviously 2-0, then your back's to the wall, but fair play to the lads. They get a goal back, and they never stop going to the end. My thing is just do that at 0-0.
Of course, the game's come thick and fast in this game, and now Coventry at home on Tuesday night gives you a chance to bounce back straight away.
And that's the beauty of this league. You know, it'll be another tough fixture. Coventry going well. I think they were in around the playoff hunt. So yeah, another side coming up from the division below and carrying that momentum, that winning momentum with them. So, you know, I think we're 3 unbeaten at home, and we've got to go there and put on a good show in front of our fans, because it's important that we bounce back in the correct manner.
Just one final one from me, Joey. Nat, just short of 100 supporters made the long journey here today. You know, they showed real loyalty to the club there, didn't they? Yeah,
tremendous. And you know, we don't take for granted how difficult it is to get to, you know, certainly places like Plymouth, and you know, the long arduous journey that it can be sometimes. I mean, you know, if it's any consolation for them, we will share that tough journey back as well with nothing to show for it. But yeah, you know, they turn up, and you know, disappointing day. I want the lads to, you know, go and acknowledge them at the end, and to be fair to the boys, they always do. They always, you know, show their appreciation for the support we get. And as I say, there was probably a lot more Plymouth in here than Fleetwood today, but we can hear our fans, and it's important that we get back to giving them something to smile about on the road.
Thanks, Joey.
Cheers.
Team selection, Joey. James' husband moved to the bench today. Just talk us through that one.
We just felt there'd be spaces to play in wide areas. Obviously, bring Ryan Taylor in for his passing ability from there, and also the way their wide players play for Plymouth. They tend to cut inside. They don't really go outside you. So we wanted a right-footed full-back at right back to be able to deal with a can't pronounce his name. It's quite something like that, yeah. But he chopped inside on his left foot. So the key for us was, making sure he came inside onto Coyley's stronger foot. Obviously, pick up a booking. In terms of Holty picks up a booking, and this referee has sent James Wallace off at Southend. He's got a bit of he's a bit card happy and gets a bit trigger happy, and we've seen young Holty fly into a few challenges, and I'm like, last thing we want to do here with the state of the game is go down to 10. So obviously disappointed because Holty was playing well, but I felt we had to make that tactical call, obviously flip it back around. Ross goes to left back, and we're trying to win the game. We're not coming here to draw the game. Every decision, every selection we make is about winning the game, and maybe that's something we have to look at going forward. Maybe the reality of it is for us at Fleetwood that we've got some good players, got some really good players in the squad, and it's never easy to put 11 out there, especially when you see the likes of Dean Marnie today doesn't even get on the bench. Harrison Biggins, who came on last week, not on the bench. So we've got good competition for places. It'd probably make my job a lot easier if we didn't, but that's the nature of it.
Yeah, you touched on the referee. What did you make of his performance today? Because you weren't happy with him in his previous times. I do think he could let the game flow a bit more. There's a number of times, certainly in the first half, Ched wins a header. He doesn't give a free kick, plays on the ground, he doesn't blow up. He allows it to develop for 5 or 6 seconds and then blows up. I don't get why you would do that. In the second half, I think somebody's taken one of our players out. We're still on to counter-attack and he blows the whistle. So, look, he, on the whole today, I think he had a good game, and I've been critical of him, especially in the past. But then I shouldn't be talking really about referees. He hasn't made any, big errors today. I thought he had a good game. So, we've got to take care of that. I don't want to be on here moaning about referees all the time, because the referees, on the whole, are relatively solid. It's about what we do. It's about our performance. So, we shouldn't make the referee an issue. We've got to do our jobs better. Yeah, finally from me, Bobby Grant off on loan to Wrexham is the word on the street. What is your thoughts on that? Is that happening?
Yeah, as far as I know, there was an interest. Where that is right now, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've been preparing for the Plymouth game, so whether things have developed behind the scenes in the last 24, 48 hours, I don't know. No doubt we'll find out tomorrow when we all touch base. And again, if that is the case, then it's probably the right thing at this moment in time for Bob. Obviously, he can't go to a league club, and he wants to play football, so you got to respect that. Yeah,
a few accusations from fans about the disagreement that went on between you and Bobby Grant over the team selection. A few accusations that you, what's it called? What was the word? That you threatened to slap him. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, what goes on the training ground, in my world, stays in the training ground. I'm not going to get involved in the hearsay and the nitty gritty. Obviously, it's just not the right thing. Me and Bob spoke after in my office. We've spoke subsequently. He knows the situation, and it's a case of closed, done deal for me. He will leave the football club. I think it's best for both parties, and I've got to focus on the players that we have. We've got a huge task at hand, and that starts Tuesday night. For me, players who are training with the under 18s, players who are outside of the group, unfortunately, are my focus.